Many times people ask, what is so great about our culture, our civilization in our country, Bharat, Dharma, Sanatan Dharma, in comparison to the Western civilization? So here is an answer given by Lord Sri Krishna. He says that yad yad acharati shreshtaha tad tad evetaro janaha. He's saying that common people follow in the footsteps of what the natural leaders do. So this is the reality. The reality in human society is that we are always looking for somebody to emulate, somebody to follow. So whom do we follow? Whomever we consider as our leader. Now, who is that our leader? Is it leader for leader for everyone? No, it is not. If you see, for a child, who is the leader? For the child, father, mother, or probably the brothers and sisters are the natural leaders. Leaders means something more than you. They are more than you in some or the other way. They become leader. They can influence you. We being the marginal potency called Tatastha Shakti of Lord, means all the living entities, the Jivas, we belong to a category called Tatastha Shakti. Tatastha Shakti means neutral. So neutral means you can be influenced towards positive, you can be influenced towards negative. But by default, the Jivas or living entities are on the neutral platform. But we are neutral and we also have freedom. Now we can use our freedom to drift towards positivity. We have freedom to drift towards negativity. And another thing is, since we are neutral and since we are also tiny, from the physics science, we can understand how smaller objects, they gravitate towards the bigger objects. It is just the simple law of physics. If you are a smaller object, you get attracted to larger object. Why is the earth rotating around the sun? It is because sun is huge in comparison to earth. Why is the moon revolving around the earth? Because earth is bigger than, moon is bigger than the earth. So this is a natural phenomena. The natural phenomena is when you are bigger than some people or in your vicinity around some people, you naturally become influencer. You influence others because you possess something more than others. It could be age. Your age is more than somebody's age. And those who are less age than you can get influenced by you. If you are more educated than others, university education, then you can be an influencer because in terms of university education, you are more educated. In terms of experience in particular field, you possess more experience than others, then you are an influencer. So in many ways, when you possess more than the rest of the people, for those people, you are the natural leaders. So Lord Krishna is first bringing out this aspect, which is actually common, but we don't notice. Like the law of gravity. The law of gravity is very simple. The bigger objects attract the smaller object. There is a force that the force is irresistible. You can't resist it. The moment you are bigger in one or the other way, you actually attract, you actually pull the smaller object towards you. So similarly, Krishna says, among the human being also it is true. What is that? Yad yad acharati Shreshtaha. Shreshtaha is referring to those great men. In any aspect you are great. It could be age, it could be experience, it could be education, it could be power, it could be position, it could be values that you follow. Right? In any of these aspects, if you are more than others, then what you do influences others. So that we need to keep in our mind. Why is this discussion very important? As I began my talk saying that how our Sanatan Dharma or our Bharat is Mahan compared to other civilization. Because in this civilization we are taught that we have this responsibility towards others. Who is this? The leadership doesn't begin somewhere at the national level for people. Like, let's say there's a 1-year-old child or 2-year-old child. That child is not going to be influenced by some national leadership or some leadership in Bollywood or something like that. That for that child, the leadership begins around that child. That could be its own father and mother. Right? So what father does, what mother does, is going to be influencing that child. We have heard all these things, stories very commonly. Once there was a boy, so he stole something. And he came home. He stole something in his classroom and he came home. And so he showed that to his mother. Oh, mother, see this? I got something new. So mother asked, how did you get this? I didn't give you this. Then the boy said, I stole this from one of my friends in the class. Oh, wow. Good, she said. And then what happened to the child? The child said, oh, this is something that I should continue. So he went on to become a big robber, a big dacoit. And then what happened? Then finally he was arrested and he was sentenced to jail imprisonment. And then he was asked that, what is your wish before you die? He was, I think, hanged to death or something. So before you are hanged to death, what is your wish? He said, I want to meet my mother. So nice. Before he dies, he wants to see his mother. So when mother came to see him, so he said, I want to tell you some secret. Come closer to me. And then when she came closer to him, he actually wanted to catch her and strangulate her. But somehow she escaped. And he caught her ears and he bit off her ears. And when he was again asked, why did you do this ghastly behavior? He said, because when I was young, when I did that activity for the first time of stealing, my mother didn't correct me. She didn't tell me what is right at that time. In fact, she gave me the wrong standard by encouraging me. So because of which today, I've landed in this situation. So the word that is used in this verse is very interesting word. That is Sayat Pramanam. Pramana. Pramana means the reference point. Pramana means evidence. That becomes the reference point. So Lord Krishna is saying what these influential people do. Again, I am redefining. Influential means anything that you possess more than others. You become an influential. Like according to the law of physics, a bigger object attracts smaller object. So what you do becomes the reference point for rest of the people. Itara janaha. In Sanskrit, itara means other. Other is other referring to smaller than you. Other means referring smaller than you. You means the one whoever is bigger than in any way than others. Itara jana, other than you, the small people, for you, your action, achara means action, achara, becomes the reference point. They will take that as a reference point. They may not have the necessary judgment skill at that point in time. They may not have enough maturity at that point in time to decide what reference point you're setting is right reference point or wrong reference point. But they will take your actions as reference point. So it is very serious. Krishna is saying, so this is so serious that all those who are willingly, unwillingly, likingly, dislikingly are assuming the position of leadership in your life. Now, for a child, the leadership begins at home. So the father, mother are the leaders. Sometimes some people come asking for father. It used to happen in the olden days. So some telephone calls come, landline those days, and it could be somebody who was given loan to you, loan to father, or they want to recover. So they call that call that house and say, oh, your you pick up the call, and or somebody else picks up. They say, is that man there? And then the child looks around because the father is there at home. So he wants to tell the truth. Yes, my father is there. But the father or mother, whoever in that scenario, see, he wants to avoid. So confronting this person who's given loan and all. So he will tell, no, tell that father is not at home. So now the point is, the child is learning. Right? Child is now learning what to speak, what not to speak. Now the child is now conflicted in the mind. Father is at home, but I can't say at home. Now the child doesn't have the entire background. Maybe the father has taken the loan, father doesn't have enough money to repay the loan, or whatever. There could be genuine or not genuine, whatever may be the reason. The child now has conflict in the mind. Conflict is, father is at home, but I have to tell lie. I have to tell something else. And this is the conflict in the mind of the child. Now what does the child say? Oh, I can also do the same. Whenever I feel uncomfortable confronting some truth, I should also tell something. So now the child repeats it. If tomorrow when parents ask the child, why did you do this? Or what happened? The now child thinks, just like I saw somebody telling a lie, like that I can also tell the lie. So where did the child learn this from? The child learnt it from the actions of the immediate leaders that were available to the child. The immediate leaders. Leader means it could be parents who are looking after the child, taking care of the child, and they're older to you. Physically, they're bigger than you, your size. In many ways, they're bigger to you. So obviously, what they do has an influence on the child. So like this, Bhagavad Gita and Sanatan Dharma teaches to all of us that how one needs to be very careful. Careful. Because your actions are setting reference point for others to follow. So one needs to mind the actions. Now one may say, why should I mind? This is the mentality of Western civilization. What is the mentality of the Western civilization? I will do whatever I want to do. I want to enjoy my life. I want to follow what my likes and dislike. What is the problem if I do whatever I want to do? Because the problem is, when you do whatever you want to do, your actions are impacting the younger people or those who are lesser than you, because you are by default playing the role of a leader. Now a leader doesn't have the freedom to follow his uncontrolled mind. So here this necessitates that as you grow in your life, you have to play the role of a leader. For this, you don't have to be a political leader, social leader, economical leader, a spiritual leader. No, you are a leader by default. Simply because you are growing, you will be leader at least for one person, at least for 2-3 people in your own home, if not for the entire country. So what you do has continuous impact on some people, at least in their life. Right? So that means you should always do those actions which are beneficial for you, for the ultimate goal of life. And by you yourself following the righteous behavior, you are impacting the other people also to get influenced in that direction. For example, if you follow The dharma. Dharma means what is the ultimate goal of life, why we are born, what is the goal of life, what am I supposed to do in the human form of life, how valuable the human life is, how should I spend my time, how should I engage myself, what kind of moral, ethical and spiritual activities I should be engaged in. If you are engaged in all these things, the rest of the people in your around you, it could be country, it could be at least a family, they're watching you. They are learning right, wrong from you. They are learning good and bad from you. It has an impact. What do you mean by a leader and a follower? Let us understand this also first. What do you mean by follower? Follower means at that point in time, they do not have enough intelligence or enough maturity to decide right, wrong, good, bad. Compared to you, you have more intelligence, more experience, more exposure and more maturity to decide right and wrong and good and bad. So that is the reason, because they cannot decide right and wrong, good and bad, they are following you because you are supposed to have enough more knowledge. Why do we follow Google Map? Because I do not know the route and I trust that Google Map knows which road takes where. They are supposed to have studied all the area and made this map properly. That's why I follow. When you go to any new place, it was earlier before the Google Map came into existence, we would all buy the city maps and go wherever we want to go. Why do you follow? In that case, that map becomes your reference point. So what is the map for younger people? When I use the word young, I'm not just referring to physical age. I'm referring to in any aspect, they are younger to you in terms of experience, exposure, maturity to decide right, wrong, good, bad, all those things. So when you are supposed to, have right understanding of life, and when you do those actions in your life, it simply becomes an education for remaining people and they will just follow that. They just follow that. Imagine what level of education happens without even saying a word. That's why it is said, your actions speak louder than words. And there is also a proverb which says that, I can't hear you because your actions are so loud. I can't hear you, your those sounds that you're making, because your actions are so loud. Because actions have much more deeper impact on people than the mere words that we make by moving our lips. So our actions have much more deeper impact. So Lord Krishna is using a very interesting word, Sayat pramanam kurute. Pramana means evidence or reference point. What becomes the reference point, what becomes the evidence is the achar of the Shreshtas. The top influential leaders of any level becomes the reference point for others. You eat meat, they will also begin eating meat. You become drunkard, they will also get the encouragement, motivation to become that. You become a righteous person, you get up early in the morning at home, they will also get up early in the morning. There are many people, they complain, see there's so many people, children at home, they don't get up early in the morning. It is because the surrounding those children do not have this right standard. Right standard. Once, Srila Prabhupada went for a evening program somewhere in US and came back. And next day morning, Mangalarti time, Srila Prabhupada noticed that some of the disciples were not there, Brahmananda Prabhu and others. And then he had to travel and Prabhupada had to immediately leave that place. He traveled and he wrote a letter to Brahmananda Prabhu. He said that I'm an old man who suffered 2 heart attacks. And I also attended last evening program and I came back and I was there for Mangalarti, Brahma Muhurta. You are young man. Why you are not there for Mangala Arati? Why you didn't get up early in the morning? So why Prabhupada was asking this? Because he himself was setting example. And Prabhupada mentions in this purport, that is the meaning of Acharya. Acharya means he teaches through his own achar, not simply talking. Talking anybody can do. So many parents tell the children, why are you telling lies? But unfortunately, they can't keep the track of their own lies. Because they think that I have grown up, I can tell lies. I have the license to tell lies. But my children cannot tell lies. I have grown up, I can do any nonsense. I can do any immoral activity. But others should not do. So this is the hypocrisy and duplicity in the leadership. The leadership where it believes that I can do, but others are not allowed to do. They should not do. At least that is the expectation. Then what happens is then that atmosphere will be lack of confidence and duplicity and full of cheating propensities. People can't be honest and clean in that atmosphere. Because they see that their immediate leaders, their immediate influencers themselves are fake. Their actions and words don't match. Now, having said this, let us understand. Now, somebody may say, oh, what to do? We are also ordinary human being. Let's say some father, mother may say, yeah, while I'm trying my best to be a good leader, a good influencer to my child, what to do? I'm also an ordinary person. I sometimes, at times, I do mistakes. Yes. What Krishna and Vedic literature, they tell us is that there is a difference between having weakness and having duplicity. Weakness is accepting our limitation, but being repentant about it, undergoing proper atonement for it, and trying not to repeat it. That is part of growing up leadership. When you allow somebody to become a leader, see, you can't wait at somebody to become perfect leader and then only appoint them as a leader, right? I'm not talking about the top leader, at least at the middle leadership and all things. So you make somebody a leader and they're also learning. They do mistake, but are they repentant about it? Are they, at least do they have an intention of not repeating it? Do they have an intention of, not justifying their mistake? That is different from, this is called limitation or weakness. Weakness, limitation is different from duplicity. Duplicity means I actually tell you something, but internally I endorse something else. So that is not the proper leadership. Such leadership is condemned. So Krishna says that locus tad anuvartate. Vartate means follow or behavior. Vartana means behavior. So that's why in Hindi also the va becomes ba and they say bartav. Bartav comes from the Sanskrit word vartate, vartana. So anuvartate. So the same behavior you can see. Anu means what? Anyone knows? Followers. So among your followers, they are like a mirror. They reflect the behavior of their leaders. Right? Sometimes people say, oh, leader is good, but the followers are bad. There is nothing like that. There is a saying in Sanskrit, Yatha Raja, Tatha Praja. Oh, Raja is good, the king is good, leader is good, but Prajas are all very bad Prajas. There is no such thing called king is good, but the people are bad like that. Sometimes they say, what to do? Leader is very good, but he doesn't have good followers like that. No. Yatha Raja Tatha Praja. As how the king is, he attracts that kind of citizens. You have that kind of a leader, he attracts that kind of followers. If the leader has an intention of corruption, the leader has an intention of cheating people and all these things, then followers also will have the same thing. Because such people get confidence. No, oh, he is only like this. So that we can feel safe. We will be protected under this kind of a leader. So such people will come and take shelter. If the leader is very serious, if the leader is very strong, leader is very firm about what is right, what is correct, what is good, then those who also mirror such thoughts and feelings, they come and take shelter. That is why it is said, Yatha Raja, Tatha Praja. It is not the reverse. What is that? Yatha Praja, Tatha Raja. You never heard such a thing. Because that's not the law of the physics. What is the law of the physics? Big attracts the small. That is the definition of gravitational force. Right? So, it is so, you can't ignore it. We can't escape from it. Like nothing can escape from this earth's gravitational force. There's a strong grip on everything. Likewise, whether we like, don't like, the children are under the force, the influential force of the parents' behavior. Like that, the people are under the influential force of their social leaders, the political leaders and spiritual leaders and all that. So that is why what these leaders, they are behaving, they are speaking, they're following, they're believing, their personal conviction, everything is going to impact the rest of the society. So Sanatan Dharma, the Vedic culture tells all these people, Srimad Bhagavatam beautifully tells in one of the verses that if you do not know the goal of life is to become pure and attain liberation, moksha in your life, you have no qualification to become father. If you do not know the goal of life is moksha, liberation, going back to God, and if you are not following it yourself, then you have no right to become mother. If you do not know that your goal of life is to go back to God and attain liberation, you have no right to become a teacher. You have no right to become king, because king, teacher, father, mother, brother, sister, all of them should be following this. Because why? Because what you do is impacting the others in your, either to immediate people in your home or in your community or in your country. Right? Like, any haircut that a hero does in a movie, immediately it become a trend. What does a trend mean? Trend means you see a person, an influential person doing something, and remaining people just want to follow it. They want to repeat that action. Isn't it? So now an influential person or a leader, he wants one kind of a haircut, and you see lakhs of people will having the similar haircut. An influential person will wear the ripped jeans, the remaining people also will start wearing the ripped jeans. Right? One very big superstar, one cinema superstar in Tamil industry, he started wearing kanthimala, tulsi kanthimala. Then suddenly there was a huge demand for tulsi kanthimala. Everybody started, coming and asking for tulsi kanthimala. Oh, do we have something? They don't even know what is that tulsi kanthimala. But you see, one good behavior makes this. Right? So that is why Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, I want to see that day where the Supreme Court judge wears tilak and comes to his job. That instills the faith in people. What is that? The wearing tilak means not some religious affiliation. It instills the faith that this person follows the divine justice. Without caste, color, country, race, gender discrimination, he will go by the divine understanding, the divine law of nature. Just see this, because when an influential person, where what he follows, the common people also follow that. When our Prime Minister of the country, when he started reading Bhagavad Gita, gifting Bhagavad Gita, quoting Bhagavad Gita, talking about Bhagavad Gita, there is so much of respect for Bhagavad Gita by common people today. So it is always like this, that we have to follow this. That is why in the next shloka, how beautifully Krishna says, you know what he says? He says, Name parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana. He says that kinchana kartavyam. Kincha means a bit. Kinchit kartavya means not na kinchit kartavyam. I don't have any duty to perform because I'm God. Krishna is saying, I have no obligation to do any work. I have nothing to do. Right? It's like the master, he doesn't have to do anything. Na me, he's referring to himself, Krishna. Na parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana. Trishu means in the three worlds, trishu loka. In the entire three world, I have no obligation to do any work. I create this world. I am the master of this world. I manage this world. I have no obligation. I have no work, prescribed to me. Nana vaptam avaptavyam varta evacha karmani. What Krishna says, O son of Partha, there is no work prescribed to me within all the three planetary system, nor am I in want of anything. Neither I want anything, nor I'm forced to do anything, right? Because Krishna is 100% independent. He's Swarat. Nor have I need to obtain anything. Krishna says, yet, even though this is my situation, I'm engaged in work. Karmani. I still do work. Why? Next in verse he says, Yadi. Yadi means if. Yadi hi aham na varteyam. Yadi aham na varteyam. If I don't do it, jatu karman atindritaha. Mama vartamanu vartante manushya partha sarvashaha. Hey Partha, whole world follows me, my behavior. And if I don't do my work, then people think I will also not do my work. Just see this. So even though there is no work prescribed to me, there is no rule and regulation, obligation, there is nothing profit or loss for me, I still engage myself in work. Just to set the standard, just to set the reference point that what is that we have to do. And this is so nicely explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, Dashamaskanda, when Narada Muni visits Dwarka. What did he see Krishna doing? He saw Krishna getting up early in the morning. He saw Krishna, after getting up early in the morning, what did he do? He had the darshan of the cows. And he gave charity. He did meditation. Like this, he engaged in all those exemplary work. So that he's setting the standards for his entire kingdom, for the entire mankind. We can say, oh God can sleep. In this, some kind of a feudal society, where this male-dominated society, in the corrupt system, what they think is, I've heard this practically. So man will be sleeping late in the morning. The woman will get up early in the morning and she'll be, cleaning the house and mopping, brooming and all that. And so she will make the chai or the tea and she'll go and wake up this so-called man. And then so she will give, please take bed coffee, and you wake up. This is the corrupt system. This is not what Bhagavad Gita is teaching. And when you ask, why that man is sleeping like this? While the woman is up in the morning and doing he's the master of this house. He's the man of the house. So let him sleep. Let him enjoy. If you are the leader, Krishna says you get up before everybody gets up. Because you are supposed to set the example. Yad acharati shrestha. If this shrestha is sleeping, then what is happening is remaining people will be dreaming. How to become the master of the house and sleep and expect the bed coffee. If the shrestha get up early in the morning and wake up early in the morning and he sets the standard for remaining people, then everybody would like to follow this. And this is exactly what I saw in my house. My father is the one who got up early in the morning before anybody else. And he would get up early in the morning. He first person to get up in the morning. Then my mother will get up. Then because my father and mother got up and we were scared to sleep. How you can sleep when they themselves got up and doing all the work. And they would also, of course, tell us, get up, it's late and all that. So we got up early in the morning and my father would be engaged in, preparing for puja, worship, and he would tell us, go and get the flower and wash all these puja articles and help me. So in this way, when the man of the house, when the leader of the house himself is engaged, then everybody will follow that. Nobody will dare to sleep and say, that is because there's a wrong example set in the house. How can somebody who says, I'm the master, so being the master meant for sense gratification. This is the beginning of the downfall of the Vedic civilization. Today, a lot of people are upset with the caste system. That is because the so-called leaders of the Varnashrama Dharma, that is Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, became corrupt. Just like the modern day male-dominated feudal society where the man believed that I bring the money to this house, so I have the privileges to sleep more, I have the privileges to eat more, I have the privileges to shout at people, I have the privilege to beat people, I have the privilege to do all these things. When this becomes the corrupted system becomes the reference point, like the Brahmanas, the caste Brahmanas, they believe that because we are the caste Brahmanas, we can ill-treat the rest of the society. What is the difference between this corrupt caste Brahmanas and caste Kshatriyas and this male-dominated house where the man believes that I can do whatever I want. I can sleep how much ever I want. I can go wherever I want. And in house we have heard when a woman asks, I want to go somewhere. And the parents say, why are you going? Where are you going? It is late. And when the man says, I want to go, and nobody asks, and when you ask, why you are not, he's the boy, he's the man. He'll be the caretaker of this family in the future. This is all corrupt system. Either man or woman. Bhagavad Gita doesn't speak such gender discrimination, caste discrimination in this verse. It simply says, everybody at certain level is a natural leader. Leader means you have certain influence over some people at your level. So you have to be watchful of your action. You have to be, you have to mind your action. You have to be careful because it is impacting others. So you have to be careful because sayat pramanam kurute pramana. Your actions, your behavior, your words, everything is setting the reference point for rest of the people. So you have to be careful. So when the Shreshtaha means those who are in that influential position, it could be a man or it could be woman, father, mother, brother, sister, leader, whoever it is, when they think this position is meant for my extra enjoyment. Today that's what people think. When I asked somebody why you want to become IAS officer, they said that because if I become IAS officer, I'll get a bungalow, I'll get a car to travel, I get some servants. So they're not saying that I get all those things so that I can serve the country more. So people started to believe that power and position is meant for my personal sense gratification. It is meant for my personal exploitation. It is meant for my exploitation. From where this came? It came from the corruption of the leaders in the Varnashrama Dharma, the people at the helm of the society, the Brahmanas and the Kshatriyas. When they got disconnected from the spiritual practices, they simply remained in their power and position, and they got corrupt. And by seeing them, even today, the influence is so bad. Even today, people believe, somehow let me become officer, somehow let me become the XYZ, occupy the XYZ position in the society, so that I can now on exploit it. Now I can control for my personal benefit. So this is the thinking. Now, the right example as per this verse we find is Bharat Maharaj in the Ramayana. When Bharat came to Lord Ram, he said that, my dear Ram, you are the king of Ayodhya, please come back. And it's too many chapters, the discussion between Bharat and Ram. It is not so simple. Ram doesn't agree to go back. And Bharat doesn't listen to Ram so easily. He says, if you are not coming back, I'm going to commit suicide right in front of you, because you are the king. I can never ever become the king of Ayodhya. And then it's so interesting what final some kind of a midway that they figure out is, okay, Ram will give his paduka, his footwear, and the footwear of Ram will be coronated on the Simhasana of Ayodhya, because Bharat is saying that I will not become the king, but till Ram comes, Bharat has to take care of Ayodhya. Now what does Bharat do? He takes the responsibility of Ayodhya without taking the power and position of a king. Means what Bharat was interested was in the service of Ram, service of Ayodhya. Service to nation is more important than the power and position. Service to the leader is more important than that I myself wanted to become a leader. But today what we believe in, we think in our mind, because the facilities are connected to power and position, and I am interested in facilities, so I want the position. Bharat wanted the position because he was interested to serve his country, Ayodhya. So those who want to serve, they are not bothered about any particular position, particular facility. Because the service is nothing to do with facility and position. Even though you have no facility, you have no position, you can still serve. And that's an example of Bharat. He didn't become king of Ayodhya. He didn't take any facility in Ayodhya. He didn't wear royal dress. He didn't adorn himself with the royal ornaments. He didn't live in the royal facilities, in the royal palace, in the royal chambers, in the royal with the royal assistants. No, he lived in hut, exactly like Ram lived. In fact, he took more austerities than Ram. Ram was sleeping on the floor. The Bharat dug the earth and he slept many feet below the earth, because he said, I can't sleep equal to Ram. He's my Lord. My position is below him. So he dug the earth, he made a pit, and in that pit he was sleeping. He never wore any footwear, because Ram is walking without Ram is walking barefoot. So he didn't accept any facilities, but he took the burden of managing, maintaining, administering Ayodhya. And these are the real inspirational leadership that we find from Ramayana. Now, unlike today's society, while everyone is asking, oh, you're asking me to do this, then what facilities are you going to give me? What extra benefits I will get? See, these people have become leaders and influencers in the society. Everybody thinks, if I become one leader, what facilities I will get, right? So that is why Lord Krishna is setting a very important standard. What leaders do has an impact on others. At your level, you are inevitably a leader. Maybe in your organization, maybe in your own home, maybe for your community, maybe in your country, you are some kind of a leader. At least you are a leader for your own children. They are going to get influenced by you. Like the moon is under the influence of earth. Earth is under the influence of sun. It is just unavoidable. It is an unavoidable influence it is. So when you know that such an influence exists, Lord Krishna is saying, use that influence to take people towards dharma. Take people towards moksha. Because anyway that there is such influence exists. Please use that influence. And keeping this influence in the mind, Sanatan Dharma, Vedic civilization is designed in such a way where everybody, at whatever level you are playing the leader's job, you are expected to demonstrate an ideal behavior, or the behavior that inspires others to follow the path of dharma, follow the path of spirituality, follow the path of moksha, so that they all finally come to Krishna. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. People around you should see you that you are putting all your efforts to serve Krishna. People around you should see that you are doing everything to follow dharma for moksha. When that happens, then whole society at the end of the life is eligible for moksha, eligible for going back to Vaikuntha. What an amazing service it is by the leaders for the people, right? That is why Krishna is saying that this is the principle, and next what is he saying? He himself does that. He himself does that. So we also be careful that we should always, because we are also in the preaching mission, and Srila Prabhupada always said that we are not those that who simply speak. We are those, first we do and then we speak. Of course, because we are not acharyas. We are not acharya. Acharya is the one who he walks the talk 100%. In our case, we might have weakness, but we should not be wicked. There is a difference between being weak and being wicked. Wicked means, I tell you, but I don't have an intention to follow myself. I will force, I will make the law for you, but for myself, I will not follow any law. I am above law. I will do all this kind of things. So that is called being wicked. Weak means, yes, I should also follow, you should also follow. When I fall down, you inspire me, you lift me up, and when you want, I will help you. Together help each other. Right? So, but the point is, as long as we are following, we are attempting to follow, we are endeavoring to follow. Krishna says, yatantascha dhridavrataha. Yataha in Sanskrit means endeavor. When you are even endeavoring, that itself is highly inspiring to others. So let us all endeavor at our own level to follow the right things, because you never know who is watching you and taking inspiration from you. With this we will stop. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Nitai Gaur Premanande.